who knows what Christmas is all about?
How nice, the gift that keeps on sucking.
Can we take a direct flight back to reality, or do we have to change planes in Denver?
Well, I don't know what to say except it's Christmas and we're all in misery.
Bah, humbug.
I win an official Red Rider Cup and action 2-inch range ball errand.
No, shoot your eye out.
Only one thing in the world could have dragged me away from the soft glow of electric sex gleaming in the window.
Christmas. Merry Christmas, darling. Merry Christmas, Jaja, darling.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere? Leave you for dead?
Now, we agreed this morning that we was going to open up our presents in order and not helter-skelter like maniacs.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss your ass. Happy Hanukkah.
I was wrong when I told you that, Susie. You must believe in Mr. Kringle and keep right on doing it. You must have faith in him.
Take the whole list of glory.
250 strands of lights, 100 individual bulbs per strand for a grand total of 25,000 imported Italian wicker lights.
Thanks for the Christmas card you sent me, Violet. I didn't send you a Christmas card, Charlie Brown. Don't you know sarcasm when you hear it?
And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, fork-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
And now, your host for the evening, Shaggy, Nate, and Colin.
But not quite. With special guest Mike the Ape Man.
I'm
Nate. 10 years.
We should have a really quick edit, like,
Shaggy. Spread the virus, spam the lockers.
Yeah, we should re-edit that so it sounds more like with Shaggy, Mike the Ape Man, and Colin.
No, we should have Shaggy, Nate, nope, Colin, and Mike the Ape Man. So, yeah.
Nate. Yeah.
So, yes, we are live, even though, and this is December, even though our stream says that it's from November. Because I screwed up and I evidently didn't save the Facebook settings when I went to the trouble of changing the description for this show. So it says this is November and we're back after a break.
Hey, yeah.
So
that's quite a break.
Yes. But hey, it's par for the course. But no, we're on, if you want to get in touch with the show, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Mike can take a look at all those and you can have your 5 seconds of fame up on the page. So, please feel free to chime in and let us know what your thoughts are about what we're going to talk about tonight, which tonight we will definitely be talking about Christmas because it's right around the corner. I mean, it's less than a week away at this point, which is as everybody says, it's hard to imagine. Seems like we just had Thanksgiving.
Well, it was a very late Thanksgiving.
That's what everybody says.
Well, it's because it was.
Yeah, what do you think?
It was as late as Thanksgiving can be.
Should we just change Thanksgiving to a particular day instead of like the X Thursday? And while we're at it, we'll change Halloween. Put that sucker on a Saturday. And then,
I hate you.
Valentine's Day. That should always be on a Friday, because who wants to go out on
When the hell
Wednesday
did you
night?
become a millennial snowflake? You Bernie Sanders, patchouli stinking, Birkenstock flannel wearing mofo. Cut it out.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
Bah humbug.
But no, yeah, it's Mike is 0% vegan.
That's
and
right.
100% gluten free tonight.
Listen,
no GMOs on him.
When I'm doing Christmas shopping for everybody else, and this shirt pops up as a deal of the day, damn right.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's like written in the same font as the Impossible Whopper as well.
On the back, it really should say like 100% gluten.
It should, but you're not going to get it. Not for $5. You're not getting that kind of.
Not that kind of fine.
I'll be lucky if I
craftsmanship.
get to wear this more than once, to be honest with you. So.
Well, I have a lot of shirts like that. I have the shirt that says I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll take a look, that I'm allowed to paint in. You know,
in hopes that you'll paint over it. Is that
I have the one that has a nice little picture of a cottage and like a cobblestone path going up to it, and it's Dick's Inn. You know, that I'm not allowed to wear out of the house. Yeah. Then I support single moms one with a stripper pole. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking, there was a lot of T-shirts from when we were in high school that had completely disappeared.
Oh yeah, like the somebody talked about fashions from middle school and high school, and it got me to thinking. All right, there's no more hypercolor.
Yeah.
All right. There's no more Big Johnson.
Yes,
remember the Big Johnson?
That's
line
exactly
of
the ones I was
t-shirts?
thinking of. Yes.
You know, and Big Dog doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
You know,
they had stores for Big Dog.
Yeah, they had outlet stores.
Yeah.
They were so big they had outlet malls.
Life's a Beach and the Bad Boy Club. I don't know if that was a Jersey thing or if that was out by you. How about you too?
Life's a Beach, I think we had around here. But yeah, I mean,
Zubaz came back.
I heard that they did. I didn't believe it, but I heard it.
Cavaricci's came back too.
You know what?
God help us.
I was curious. I'm curious now because I've been buying Fat Boy clothes on eBay lately because it's a lot cheaper. I treat eBay like a garage sale, basically.
It is.
Right? Because fat guy clothes hard to find at a garage sale.
Okay.
All right? And fat guy nice clothes, like I wear anymore, I've changed to like button-down bowling shirt type stuff. Those are $80 a piece if you buy them new. I've been able to find them on eBay, either like brand new or gently worn for like $20. So incredible deal. Okay. I wonder if anyone is selling Big Johnson T-shirts. And sure enough, they are. They are.
Here we go.
Yes. I'm sure there are belt buckles with all kinds of things on them, including Big Richard. Big El Grande Johnson. Lick it, slam it, suck it, and don't forget to swallow the worm. Yes. Yeah, we had to. That now, I don't know. Well, one, I know they wouldn't allow it in school.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But we were wearing this stuff to school.
I never wore those, but I saw a lot of them.
You know. Big Johnson scuba gear, the bigger your hose, the deeper you can go.
I was wearing a lot of shirts like you're wearing right now, back then.
Polos?
Yeah. But I stopped wearing those because I got tired of people stopping me in stores thinking I worked there.
Yeah, I understand that. But one of my favorite shirts recently is what I wore yesterday. It's like the Lion King, where they're at the top of the rock holding the baby lion up there. Mm-hmm. But it's the Mandalorian holding baby Yoda up there. Yeah. But
I'm really starting to get pissed off with all of these Mandalorian memes. Because it's really making me angry that I don't have Disney Plus.
It's a free.
I am having serious. It's not even FOMO now. Good Lord, did I just use that acronym? Not even fear of missing out. It's the fact. Damn it, I'm missing out, and now I'm starting to get pissed.
Well, I haven't watched. I have Disney Plus. I haven't watched anything on it other than a rerun of Captain Marvel that I could have watched off of Plex or at that time I think also Netflix maybe. I don't know, but I could have watched it a couple of different ways.
Well, the quality is better usually on Disney Plus.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, I really got it for the kids more than anything else because it's got Peppa Pig. So my thought is maybe if I get it, if I get them conditioned enough, maybe I can drop the children's channels from my Dish Network subscription.
I've been very happy with YouTube TV. I will say that. As far as for television, we've dropped all of the traditional services and saved a ton of money.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just haven't been able to. Well, I could have made that switch no problem. Not an issue for me. Mm-hmm. But it's other people in the household that would have problems with it, I think.
The best thing is that the unlimited DVR makes things different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have 6 months of you can record everything for 6 months instead of I'm running out of space. So, yeah, my mom has tons of Judge shows.
Yeah,
because every single one records now. She has 6 months of Judge shows to watch.
There's a ridiculous amount of Judge shows. So really, she's got a week's worth of new episodes because there's every time I change the channel, there's a different judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there's times when I could just put the whole collection of Matlock on loop in my house, and that would satisfy my wife's needs.
Yeah.
Because I walk in, and that's what's on. And I go to bed, and that's what's still on. That's all she's watched all day long.
Here, on the weekends, Roseanne and or Golden Girls, depending on what hour, but it's the same channel. Or Dr. Phil.
Well, you see, Mike. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been doing something very similar with Griffin.
Mm-hmm. You've been watching Dr. Phil with him?
No, Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, okay. So you've been telling him how to laugh at Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been teaching him to appreciate older humor. Television.
He really, really likes Hogan's Heroes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I checked the DVR at lunchtime to see what, if there was anything that I could watch while I was eating my lunch. And none of my shows are on, but there was the preview for Sister Wives. Apparently they've moved again. I don't know if it was a preview or a new episode of My Big Fat Fabulous Life.
Oh.
There's episodes of the Kardashians on there. I don't know why. There's episodes of Dr. Phil, both new and reruns.
Yeah.
So I finally said, okay, I'm going to start watching Watchmen. Because I hadn't been watching it. And so far, not bad.
Yeah, I hear good
There's another one on HBO I want to start watching. Supposedly, was it In His Kingdom or something?
I think we may have talked about it. If you're into, grungy superhero-ish, but more maybe drama-ish, Doom Patrol. It's Brendan Fraser plays one of the lead characters. You wouldn't know it because he's behind a mask, but yeah,
yep,
not bad.
Griffin, now quoting Hogan's Heroes daily.
I think you need to be careful about that. I think Griffin needs to watch what quotes he pulls from.
I'm going to assume that the quote being pulled over and over again is the "I know nothing."
As long as it's not like Zig Heil or Hail Hitler, I think he'll be okay. But
no, that's
with kids today. You never know. I mean,
True.
I'm just saying. They
You
idolize.
say that's in Gorgon. Yeah,
They idolize the weirdest things. Sometimes he could go, hey, you know what? Clothing choice, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's not old enough to be introduced to things like Schindler's List and stuff, so he doesn't really quite understand the terribleness of Nazis. But
And all right, so Mama Blair is saying 3 judges. All right, Judge Millian, who is the People's Court, I believe. Hot Bench, no idea. And Judge Judy.
Hot Bench sounds like a porn flick, not
Hot Bench is Judge Judy's other show that she produces that has 3 judges at the same time.
Is it on the Playboy channel or what? I don't know.
I've seen a commercial for that, and I know that's the American Idol of judges is what's going on there.
True.
They got something about busted in Connecticut or something. I catch that on quite often. That's where the judge is it's like real court, but the judge is actually talking to the people about what they did and why they did it. It's usually like traffic court.
Well, here we go. Ranker did a list, of course. We can always count on Ranker to do a list. We'll just look at the top 10. Number 10, Judge Karen.
Never heard of him.
Oh, wait. Law and Order Criminal Intent is number 12 on this list.
Well, Judge Joe Brown was number 11. Number 9, Judge Alex. Number 8, Lauren Lake's Paternity Court. She doesn't even have judge in her title. Number 7, Hot Bench. Number 6, Judge Hatchett. 5, Divorce Court. 4, Judge Faith. 3, The People's Court. 2, Judge Mathis. And number 1, Judge Judy. But what's crazy is they have Science Court. That's a cartoon. Texas Kids Court. That's not even real. They have a whole bunch of stuff in here that I wouldn't count as court.
I said they had Law and Order up there, so.
Okay, they got a new one. It's like a personal injury one, but it's actual cases that they reenact. And I seem to remember they had that kind of show way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's old is new again.
Yeah.
Well,
while we're talking about court, yes, let's talk about how our government's. No, we're not.
No,
we're not going there.
We're not. No.
We absolutely are not going there.
I was reaching for the power plug. Sorry, PTR is offline. So I just got back from.
Wait a second. We can talk about a court thing, Mike. We got one on the show plan.
Oh, okay.
We got one on the show plan that I think that we can talk about without getting too offensive. Maybe. All right. It was the second link in our show list.
Oh yes. Please go.
A Texas judge named Diane Hensley has said that she's been reprimanded by the state commission for refusing to conduct same-sex weddings. Okay, now, here's where this gets interesting. All right, it's not that... So what happened was, in Texas, the Texas commission told judges that if they were going to refuse to do same-sex marriages, that was fine, but they needed to refuse all weddings because they could not discriminate. All right, so their edict out to the judges was you have to be equitable to your constituency if you're going to administer weddings. So if you're available to everybody. All right? Because the law is supposed to be impartial and your administration of it, which this is a duty of a judge, if they choose to perform this, should be impartial. And so she did that for a while. She refused to do weddings. Mm-hmm. But then she's opened herself back up, but only doing straight weddings. And this is what's getting her into trouble. All right? So she's only doing straight weddings, and she is refusing to do any same-sex couples. Now, she's saying that she's still abiding by the meaning of the advisory by indicating that they can go to another court further away to have it done. That's the same as similar but not equal. Okay?
Well, okay. Is she the only judge that presides? Like, if you went there on a different day
for this county,
would you get a different?
There's a
judge?
different judge who's 30 minutes away.
No, I'm saying, I guess I'm thinking of it like if you hung up from my customer service and called back and you got a different representative. If you went
at this location, she is the justice of the peace.
Yeah, she's
okay,
the
that's
judge.
a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the big problem to me. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if you have other judges there, and she chose not to go that route, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. Because it's a religious belief, although I do feel like a lot of people hide behind religious belief as a reason not to do something.
Well, my problem with this is that if it is a judge doing a wedding, it is by definition a non-religious wedding.
Right.
It is a legal wedding under the law.
It's a civil service.
It's a civil service, and therefore her religious beliefs have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's no different than if she was saying, listen, I'm not going to grant divorces because that's not allowed under my religion. You should go to a priest and have it annulled.
No. Okay. You're right. I didn't think about it that way, but I agree with that.
You know, and if she and I mean the thing is, and this is where I apply to this to everything is, you cannot pick and choose the parts of your religion that you are going to strictly enforce.
Says who?
Well, says the man upstairs who says everything is the same in the eyes of the Lord. So not to get preachy, but
so
there's no one sin is greater than the other. And so, it's not, I mean, that's what I think these people don't understand and don't get. They pick and choose which ones they want to abide by. And you guys can contradict me if I'm wrong.
No,
but that's what it sure in the heck seems like. The guy who, the county clerk who was focused on a few years ago, who was on like her third marriage herself, but wouldn't do same-sex marriages.
Yeah. Well, and also, if she's at home, if she finds some piece of cloth that has become mildewed, does she take it to church and give it to her pastor to take care of?
Yeah. And do they all, fast on Fridays or,
do they like eating crab?
Yeah. I mean, it's all these things. It's a, and maybe their religion's different than what I follow. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to throw that out there too.
So if you talk about, you have to follow all of the, if you can't pick and choose what parts of your religion you're going to follow, correct?
If you're going to hide behind it, if you're going to say, I'm not going to perform something because of it, then you better live it.
Okay. Yes. So
especially if that's something that is by definition your job.
Therefore, does that mean that she should support slavery?
Well, see,
by selling her youngest daughter into slavery as sanctioned in Exodus 21:7.
See here,
or work on the Sabbath. Exodus 35:2 says you should be put to death for working on the Sabbath. So are you going to follow it all or not?
Well, and
I'm doing this for a reason. This is why I think that religion is stupid.
Okay, well, let me just let me briefly go through this. So there is the Old Testament and there is the New Testament. Okay, the Old Testament is actually the rules of the Jewish religion. Now, if you're a Christian, you're not technically a Jew, so you don't have to follow the Jewish religion. In fact, there's an entire section of the New Testament where there's a thing that basically says, "Did I say that? No. Then why are you doing that?" And that's the whole. That's the whole. Gentiles could be Christian as well, even though they're not following the specific Jewish religion. Now, the Jewish religion, and I'm not a Jewish scholar here, but my understanding is the basics of it were based around things should be one thing and one thing only. So things that are multiple things are bad. So, for example, things that live in the ocean should swim. So if you have something that is in the ocean and it is walking, that's bad. That's why shellfish are non-kosher, because they walk, but yet they live in water. So, a lot of the things within the Jewish religion, that's the reason for that separation. You can look at a lot of the rules that are listed there in the Old Testament. And a lot of those rules have to do with that duality situation.
Yeah, and Mama Blair is right. There is definitely a difference between religion and faith.
Yes.
Religion, people wage wars over.
Religion, people profit over tax-free.
Yes.
Now, the general theme of the Bible was, okay, I told you to do this. You guys thought, oh, we're unworthy for you, God. Okay, so I gave you some rules. Now you follow these rules, then you'll be worthy. Well, nobody can follow the rules, and they create even more rules. They still can't follow those rules. Oh, we're not worthy. And so God says, look, fine.
You all are Democrats.
Here's what I'll do. I'll give you my son. He's going to have himself killed, and I'll take care of all your, and then you're good with me, okay? Are we all agreed on this situation? But everybody's like, okay, but we still want all the rules. So that's the general theme of the Bible. God's saying, look, you're really okay with me, and the humans are going, no, we're not.
Yeah, so, I mean, but the thing is just for me, okay, so she took a civil service position where she knew she was going to have to upheld the laws of the land. And the laws of the land say you can't discriminate. Okay, now, have they said you can't discriminate based on sexual preference? I will agree, all right, Mike, probably to your point, that so far, nationally, they have not said that. That has maybe been passed at a local and even a state level. But it has not been done at a federal level yet. And if and when that ever comes to pass, then absolutely she won't have a leg to stand on.
Right.
You know.
But they have done that, at least on the marriage question. So on the marriage question...
Yeah, because a domestic partnership, which is a form of a civil union...
Right.
That's okay on a federal level, so she would have... This is a civil union, isn't it?
No, the marriage has already been done. Supreme Court already ruled that same-sex marriage is required.
Well, I'm just pointing out why... I guess I'm looking at it as why she can't hide behind...
I guess that's a question.
Religion on this one.
Does she perform same-sex civil unions? Or did she before marriage went into effect?
The whole civil union thing kind of was a sidebar for a long time, but now that marriage itself is constitutional, really required, the civil union question is kind of secondary.
I'm just curious as to when her views change, you know.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it is actually a question. Was she doing civil unions before?
Yeah.
And if she was, did she suddenly decide to refuse because she thought she was going to get fired, and now with all the publicity, she can't get fired?
Yeah.
Because then it'll look bad.
No, she's elected.
Okay, so...
But she can be disciplined.
Yeah, she can be disciplined just like any other lawyer.
Which she has been reprimanded by the state commission.
But she can't technically just be fired because she's an elected official.
But this isn't just a conversation for us. We want a conversation with you guys. So chime in on the comments, whether you're listening to this now or whether you're listening to it later. Let us know, what do you think? Should county and above judges be required to marry same-sex couples if they perform marriages at all? If they don't perform marriages, obviously, which is an optional thing within their, at least within Texas here, you have the opportunity to not perform marriages at all. But if they do, should they be required to offer it to both flavors?
Yeah.
So,
Now,
I'm curious what our listeners think because, like I said, we're three guys, three heterosexual guys sitting around the table.
We're not going to go into the question of whether a church should be required.
No.
Because we're just talking here. We're not, maybe, like I said, if you bring religion into a judge, now you've violated the whole point of
church and state.
Church and
Correct.
state.
Yeah. So,
but now I have the question.
Mm-hmm.
Since they're talking about going on tour, Kanye and Joel Osteen.
Yes, since we were going on to church. Now, I believe we talked last episode about
Kanye's backyard and how some of the movies we reviewed appeared to have been filmed there.
Well,
but
not only that, but we were also talking about how Kanye has self-disclaimed himself as the greatest artist God ever created.
No, he's also said that he is a man of God and is giving up all of his fame, and he's not in this for fame and fortune. But they're going on a
tour.
They're taking the show on the road.
Yeah, boy.
Bands go on tour because albums are not profitable. They go on tour to make money.
Well, yeah, they go on tour because there is no money in albums anymore. So, yeah.
At what point does a church become a business? Joel Osteen, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it actually like Joel Osteen Ministries? Or am I thinking? Is he like the Lakewood something church or?
I don't know, but I can tell you that his church makes enough money that they bought an old stadium. And that's where they hold church. It's like a 60,000 or more thing. And I can tell you this. He doesn't know how high water is.
Wow.
Sometimes he confuses dry pavement for flooded roads.
Yeah, there was that whole thing during Harvey.
I think so.
Where he refused to open up his stadium to allow people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, see.
Evidently,
I don't know.
They're coming to Yankee Stadium on May 2nd. And supposedly they're going to sell out the venue. And did you know that when we talked before about Kanye coming to Joel's church, there were two parts to that appearance. There was a part where he just basically came on stage and said, "Hi, I'm Kanye," which happened to the congregation. But then later in the afternoon, there was an actual performance where him and Joel were on stage singing basically Kanye's new Christian album, which is weird to say.
Yeah, and I believe
sold tickets to it through like Ticketmaster.
Yeah, and I believe that Kanye actually, while he was talking to Joel before the performance, TMZ had a clip of him actually telling everyone to basically shut up so that he could properly hear God speaking to him and through him.
Yeah.
Basically demanded a stadium go silent.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty...
At some point, if you're doing a national tour like this,
does it
become a business? This is no longer a religious organization. This is another loophole that needs to be closed.
Yeah, here, let's see if
I'm not saying that donations and such I'm not saying that they should lose their nonprofit status, but at some point, this is no longer about religion. This is about business.
But the problem is that there's still lots of nonprofits that have nothing to do with religion.
NFL.
Well, yeah.
Just as one. I'm just throwing it out there.
So it is possible to still be a nonprofit. But you do have to ask the question, in the end, are they actually making money off of it? And if they are, then it's not a nonprofit anymore.
Here, let's just take a brief tour. Let's see if we can hear this.
Rapper Kanye West isn't one to shy away from controversy, and you can bet he's going to say exactly what's on his mind. Who can forget his off-script moment in 2005 following Hurricane Katrina's devastation when West helped host NBC's A Concert for Hurricane Relief alongside Mike Myers and decided to use the opportunity to claim that President George Bush didn't, quote, care about black people. On a 2006 Rolling Stone cover, the Jesus Walks rapper donned a crown of thorns and had streaks of what looked like blood dripping down his face for the controversial, unapologetic cover. To top it off, West made a splash at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards when he stole Taylor Swift's stage time, declaring he's sorry, but Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time. And in the latest news, West finally rejoined Twitter in April of 2018 and shortly after began writing about his support for President Donald Trump. Trump thanked West for his remarks shortly after. Meanwhile, many celebrities, including Wendy Williams and Rosie O'Donnell, slammed West for his views, and the rapper lost tons of followers in just one day.
Now, that last one, I think they were reaching for that being a crazy moment. But some of the stuff he has said in support of Donald Trump, not his support of Donald Trump, but the stuff he said, literally, that he wrote, is bat-ass crazy. But, you know.
Now, this has happened in the past. So this happened with the PTL Club, you know, Tammy Faye Baker and whatever her husband was then. Jim Baker, thank you. I can only remember Tammy Faye. So the PTL Club did lose its nonprofit because they were using their money for things like a water slide and a shopping mall and hotels. So it has happened in the past where something became to the point where the IRS stepped in and took away their nonprofit. So I think Joel Osteen there is walking a dangerous path.
Now, supposedly, he is worth, Joel Osteen is worth a net worth of more than $50 million, but he no longer accepts the $200,000 salary to which he's entitled as senior pastor of Lakewood Church. That's as of 2018. So how does he have so much money? Well, he lives in a 17,000 square foot mansion in River Oaks with an estimated value of $10.5 million. The church has an annual budget of $70 million, but he relies on income from book sales.
Yes. Which he does pay taxes on those.
Yeah, so that would be the taxable portion of his income. So, yeah. But, yeah. There, as of this, now, you take it for what it's worth. It's from a Facebook post from a group called Church Survivors. There is now a cover charge to hear the word of God imposed by Joel Osteen. For those that are just so starstruck with his watering down message, you can now pay a fee to look upon his nose to the tune of $147 a Sunday.
And people probably gladly pay it.
Oh, and more. I'm sure. A cover charge to go to church. Why didn't the Catholics think of that?
Oh, they sort of did.
I mean, they went based on
I was
percentage,
say.
But, you know. Instead of passing the plate, they should have just put the guy at the front door.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a lot simpler. We could have saved a 10 minutes worth of service time.
Not for nothing, but around here, a couple of the Catholic schools that went by that whole, if you want your kid to go here, give me your W-2. I'll tell you what your tuition is going to be based off of what you earn.
Mm-hmm.
That business model failed miserably because those schools actually closed.
Oh, it has around here as well.
Because people finally gave up. And said, nope.
Has around here as well. They haven't been able to meet tuition minimums. They haven't been able to pay their teachers, and so a lot of the private schools around here have closed that operate on those models. There's only a few that are still operating. I think there's one elementary school left, one Catholic, at least, elementary school that's still left.
I feel like there's more than that.
Okay, there could be. Maybe 2. But I can't think of many. But yes, it is rapidly declining.
The high school
It's going to get interesting in Jersey next year. It was tabled during the last session, but there's a bill in the Senate that would close the religious loophole and a belief exemption on vaccinations. And basically says if you choose not to vaccinate your child cannot attend public school, period.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think it's perfectly valid.
Now, this brings up the question of church and state.
Yeah.
And my point, and I kind of discussed this on Facebook with the reverend that actually came in my wedding ceremony. And I said, the problem here is not the religious exemption. It's how many people are using that because it's easier than going to a doctor and getting a medical exemption. A doctor will not do it unless there's a real reason.
Yeah, unless there's a legit reason.
This is like the woman with the little Pomeranian. Oh, he's a service dog walking through ShopRite.
Yeah.
No, he's not a service dog. He may be an emotional support animal, but that is not covered under the ADA.
Yep.
It's bullshit. So you got people ruining it for the folks that actually need it. And I'm not saying vaccinations. I'm not saying you should avoid vaccinations because they cause autism. I do not subscribe to that. I do not believe that. What I do believe is that there have been cases where children have had serious adverse reactions to the vaccines because they are allergic to a component of the vaccine.
Yeah.
At which point that's a medical exemption.
Well, then you get
that's no different than going to. Yeah, it's no different than going to the school lunch and saying, "Oh, I'm lactose intolerant. Don't give me anything with cheese."
But then you go and get a different version of the shot that doesn't have that thing they're allergic to.
Yeah. Well, if it's available.
Yeah, if it's available.
Yeah. I think
then it's up to the state to fix it to make it available.
And for those that aren't available, that's where we bank on herd immunity, basically, is what they refer to it as.
And a lot of this, I believe, was focused around the recent spike in sickness due to the HPV vaccine, which is relatively new. They didn't have that when I was growing up.
No, that's brand
so
new.
that's one of the ones that I'm thinking there may not be multiple varieties of this vaccine yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that. I'm relatively militant on the whole immunization thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should make darts and just stand out there and just start shooting people with the darts if they're not.
Are you taking a twist on my tag the homeless idea? Just
sure.
Dart the unvaccinated.
Yes.
Is that what you want to go with?
Yeah. Let's just dart them.
Mm-hmm.
How about instead of metal detectors, they install UV X-ray machines at the schools, so that when you walk through, it automatically kills any of these virals or bacterials or whatever.
So you have to run
and sterilizes you at the same time.
So you have to go through decontamination before you walk into school. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that would work for me. If you don't want to have your kids immunized, then they have to walk around in Bubble Boy uniforms.
And we stop the anti-bullying campaign. We just keep it going. That works for me.
If someone bullies you, push the button that doesn't let sound into your suit anymore and just ignore it.
I didn't want to leave the bateau, but I had to.
But, okay.
Bubble Boy was a great movie.
I actually have a segue to get to that. Okay. So, we were on a bus at Disney, because I was at Disney last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
no,
I can't believe it.
And so we're on a Disney bus, and it sounds like my brother-in-law, who was with me, my sister and brother-in-law were with me, and my brother-in-law has gotten a cold, and we're pretty sure it's a Japanese cold because There was this one time on a bus where I was sitting next to this Japanese guy.
Brace for racist joke.
No, it just happens that he was Japanese. That has nothing to do with anything other than he coughed once into his mouth, and then he coughed a little bit later, and then he just kind of gave up. And he started doing this thing where to cough, he would raise his head up in the air and then like a animal calling for a mate. He every time he just would raise his head up in the air and just cough out into space. And at first I was like,
that's
crap.
That's how you
That
spread
is
the
how the
Honka
simian
virus.
flu started. No. Planet of the Apes, man. That's how the simian flu got spread in the airport.
You know?
So at first I was like, crap, I'm sitting next to him. Then I realized, oh, wait a second, I'm sitting next to him. He's coughing that way, away from me. That unfortunately, that's exactly where my brother-in-law was. So, sorry, Andrew. Okay. So there's a couple of things I do want to talk about my trip.
Yes.
We started off. We traveled to St. Louis, and we went to St. Louis to Six Flags in St. Louis because it was holidays in the park.
Okay.
Now there's a picture. Can you bring that up?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Because
okay, not quite that big. There we go. Yep.
Actually, if you want to zoom in on the people on the right.
Okay, people on the right.
Yep. So they have a map showing where people, different things are in the park, and one of them was the Snow Queen.
She is very plasticky.
Now there was a different Snow Queen when we were there because it was actually a white Snow Queen, and with her was her sister, and so we decided their names were Annie and Elsie. They're Anna and Elsa from Frozen. They're hillbilly cousins.
Okay.
And we just saw this going, oh, you're just going to call her the Snow Queen, even though.
So is the deer there Opha?
I have no idea. The chipmunk or deer thing there wasn't around when we were there. It was just the two of them standing next to each other, having pictures taken of people, and we're just looking at them going, "Yeah." And then we saw a show.
Did you yell at them? Copyright infringement!
Oh, it was worse. It was worse. So we saw this show about it was a ghost version of A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
They were playing music from A Muppet's Christmas Carol.
Okay.
They made a joke about Baby Yoda. And actually went to the point of mentioning, if you want more information about that, you can get Disney Plus. And we're just like, that's going, man, you are using a lot of Disney content here at Six Flags.
Well, you know.
So, anyway, they followed that up by actually flying to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So, question.
Yep.
When you said there was a white Snow Queen,
yes.
Is that as opposed to the maroon skin tone that one in the picture was, or were you referring to the color of her dress?
No, it was the same. It was a smaller dress, and it was a very, very white girl wearing the dress.
Okay.
So she looked even more like the Disney character.
What I want to know is, who let these two rave people in? And what type of emo or EDM music were they trying to play with that acoustic guitar? You know?
Yeah. The other thing we noticed at Six Flags that thankfully was not happening for the rest of our vacation. There's this new trend of people wearing pajamas in public.
It's not new.
That's not new.
It was new to me because so many people wearing pajamas there at Six Flags.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
okay. I have one other question actually, and this is more of a technical one for you, Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys hear me speaking when you blew up the picture?
Oh, maybe not. Hold
okay.
on. I can probably fix that, though.
No, it's all right. I'm just curious because I'm wondering why, because I was trying to point out that emo hillbilly guitar player actually had, not only did he have the harmonica, but he appeared to have a kazoo on top of the harmonica.
Huh.
Ah.
All right, let's do something. Let's try something. All right, so we'll bring this up. Maybe okay. Say something.
No,
Mike.
don't. I'm speaking. Don't try and break. Don't. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say, don't try and break nothing while.
No,
I was like, I'm like, some bitch, they're ignoring me. I actually have a point. Damn it. No, that's okay.
No, I sorry.
It's cool.
I had it flipped so that you could only talk when you were on the screen. And so I undid that.
So we went from Six Flags to Disney to Universal. Now, that was the wrong order. So if anybody ever wants to do that, it's Six Flags, then Universal, and then Disney. If you go to Universal after Disney, it's kind of a letdown. So you need to build up.
You need to work your way up from Poverty Park to
Yeah, Poverty Park to we have lots of money, but
we don't know what to do.
We're not afraid to curse in front of kids park.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Up to Disney Park. Now, we were at Hollywood Studios 1 week after the brand new ride opened, which was Rise of the Resistance, which has the interesting thing of they were doing these boarding group things to get onto the ride. Mm-hmm. The boarding groups were running out before the parks officially opened.
Ah.
Because so many people were arriving like 4:30 a.m. that they ended up having to opening the park because there's too many people standing outside the park. And then they're giving out these boarding groups. Anyway, I'll just say Rise of the Resistance is by far the best thing in a theme park ever created.
Okay.
To the point where nothing else comes even close to it.
That's got to be pretty special if it's going to take the top spot from a turkey leg in Adventureland.
Yeah.
Or Frontier, whatever.
This ride says turkey leg who?
Did you see
well,
that?
Yes, but does it say it more like
Chewie is not on this ride, but he is walking around outside the ride. So you can ask him then.
No, then it is not the best thing ever.
Did you see that
more
the early
Chewie,
reviews?
less Baby Yoda.
Did you see that the early reviews of Rise of Skywalker are out?
Yes, they're not very good.
This is
I have seen it.
This is not fair. This is absolutely not fair to Rise of Skywalker. Okay, this is a decades-long franchise that they are wrapping up. If you pleased everyone, then Hollywood should just shut down after this.
Well, that's
because
the reviews are basically saying the reviews are the vast majority of the reviews are saying it's bad because they tried to please everybody.
Well, I knew it was going to be in trouble when I got onto Yahoo, and the title of the article wasn't Rise of Skywalker receives good or even lukewarm reception. Mm-hmm. No, it was Rise of Skywalker features first gay kiss.
No.
That's what they focused on.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
Did Poe and Finn hook up?
I don't know. I don't have the answer to it. I just know that was the title, is Rise of Skywalker features franchise's first same-sex kiss.
I'm going to assume that particular article would have been put up even if that didn't actually happen. So here's the thing. At the beginning of the year, it looked like Star Wars was becoming a horrible, horrible, horrible thing for Disney. Because Galaxy's Edge had just opened. Seems to be a bit of a flop.
Mm-hmm.
The movies haven't been doing that well, especially the side movies. But here now, at the end of 2019, things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
So Rise of the Resistance, the new ride, has opened. That actually is supposed to be the main ride. Before they had a Millennium Falcon simulator ride, which is really cool to walk through, but the ride itself it's okay. But now that the main ride is now open, I think those parks are now going to be full of people. That looks good. The Mandalorian, everybody loves Mandalorian. I think, and the reason people love The Mandalorian, because you two haven't watched it yet, is it mainly feels more like the first two movies. It feels more like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It has actual Muppets. I mean, they're not
Yoda.
There's not just Baby Yoda. All the other creatures.
So tired of Baby Yoda memes.
All the other creatures in the show are, for the most part, puppets. There's not nearly as much CGI as the movies have gotten. So it feels like a Western. It feels more like Star Wars originally felt. And I think people are reacting very well to that. I'm a little worried about, there's a show coming up that's going to be a Kenobi show. I'm a little worried about that one because that feels like backsliding. I think the whole idea of doing brand new stories in the Star Wars universe with lower budgets so that there's more practical effects going on, I think that's great. So I am a little worried about the Kenobi thing. I think this movie needs to get out of the way, and then more interesting things will happen in the future. But I think things look better for Disney and Star Wars than they did earlier this year.
J.J. Abrams said previously it was important to him that the Star Wars universe look more the way the world looks than not. And in the case of the LGBTQ community, it was important to me that people who go to see this movie feel that they are being represented in the film. Why? You don't have to represent every subculture in the film. You just don't.
Okay. I am going to withhold judgment because I want to see how it's portrayed. If it's portrayed very nonchalantly, example being how Sulu came out of the closet in the last Star Trek, right? But no, hear me out. They did not make a big deal about it. They didn't comment on it. They showed it, and that was it. It was almost. But no,
go ahead.
The way they did it made it seem that it was a non-issue in the future. That sexuality, nobody cared. That's my point. All right, I don't like the fact that they made Sulu gay. All right, that's not my point. My point is they made it that it was acceptable in society, and it was not focused on. They didn't glamorize it. They didn't do any of it. If they put in this kiss in this Star Wars movie because they were caving in, I'm going to call it now. If it is Finn and Poe that make out, I'm going to be very mad because all the LGBTQ XYZ community has said that they wanted those two to hook up, that the tension was there, and if they don't hook up, I'm going to be mad. If they cave in just to cater to them, that's a problem. That's my point about it. There was a show on Netflix called Another Life with Katie Sackhoff. It was a sci-fi show. There's transgender crew members. There's homosexual crew members. And nobody points out anything. Everybody just gets along.
Yeah.
Now, I'm against the whole gender, the whole idea of there not being a gender. Okay? But I do like the idea that it's portrayed in the future that homosexuality is not a big deal. It is part of the culture. Who cares?
Yeah,
love who you love.
Yes,
okay,
I agree.
That's the point that I'm stepping off my soapbox now.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I don't like it when they put it in the story to make a point.
Yes,
and to me, that's kind of what Star Trek felt like. It's like where it didn't have an organic spot in it.
Well, I agree. I don't like how they did it, but I like it. I would have preferred they didn't make it a plot point at all, but
yeah,
I was quite happy with. The problem I had was that they used Sulu, and they could have used some other characters that were never portrayed in any way before. The problem with Sulu was that Sulu was supposed to be heterosexual.
Well, in the original series,
yes,
he made out with women and everything. So
exactly. Because of that, the character has already been set. Just because they time traveled and some time travel things changed, that didn't change the character.
Yeah.
Now, there's other characters that were around that they could have, decided they're gay and wouldn't have affected anything. Have been great. But just because, the original actor is gay, let's make that character gay. That was crappy.
Agreed. And I believe even Takei was pissed off about it.
He was probably more pissed off about it than anybody else.
Yeah. I think he was pissed off on Roddenberry's behalf.
No, he was. The problem is, it comes back to the whole: is someone gay because they've decided to be gay, or are they gay because they were just happy they are gay?
Yeah,
and that's something that, from a gay rights perspective, they've worked very hard on, and so that was Takei's point. That character is not gay. And because the character is not gay, you can't just decide that the character is now gay because of time travel, because that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
That's what he was pissed off about.
All right. So talking about something else.
Yes.
Same type of... Well, we'll get to this one later. But let's talk about something else that makes us all very angry. Vegans. All right. Mike is officially 0% vegan tonight. But
I said it should be 0% vegan curious to make it even funnier.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But Mike provided a link to us about something I'm very curious. What in the heck is a vegan egg? Because maybe I don't know something.
Oh, but I looked it up.
But eggs aren't vegan.
I looked it up. These things are... It's basically beans.
To me, it's like soy milk. There's no soy teat, so there's no soy milk. It's soy juice.
Yeah, it would make sense that it'd be made out of beans because that's a common replacement. The problem with eggs is that their eggs taste good. I love eggs.
Eggs are good,
but they're also important to recipes.
Yeah,
that for more than just taste, they bind things together, and it just happens that
they're literally called a binder.
Yeah, and it just happens that bean. What's that called? Not virtues. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically bean water.
Mm-hmm.
You can use bean water to do the same thing in many recipes, so it makes sense that they'd make vegan eggs out of beans.
It's made out of mung bean protein isolate. I don't know what the hell a mung bean is. It sounds like the coffee that the monkeys eat and then poop out.
Yeah,
and they sell it for $1,000 a pound. But it's here's my problem. All right, look. This is the same thing with like. It started with turkey bacon. You should have called it something else. It's not bacon. Bacon is pork. Bacon is a specific type of meat. You can't have vegan bacon. Because it's not bacon.
No.
Now you got vegan eggs. No, it's not eggs. Even calling it eggs, it's offensive to eggs. It's implying that, well, we want to eat eggs, but without all of the moral consequences of eating eggs.
They're diminishing the worth of chicken.
There is no moral consequence.
Here's a mung bean. Boy, those look tasty.
They look like peas.
Yeah, they look like mini peas. No thanks.
So the word I was looking for was aquafaba.
No.
Which is the water that chickpeas have been cooked in. And it can generally be used as a replacement for eggs in recipes.
Sure. So can applesauce.
No.
Oh, no, that's oil. That's oil or butter.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I forgot.
No, I don't want... I really don't want...
But yeah, we've talked about this before. It's like all those vegan replacements for different foods. It's like, if you want to eat vegan, just eat vegan. If you are coming up for replacement things for actual foods, you're just fooling yourself.
All right, let me ask you a question. All right. And this is a loaded question, I'm going to admit. But
42.
do you trust these people to tell you what to eat? I don't. I don't. Because she, psychologist, that's not food scientist.
Okay.
Founder.
Psychologist.
No qualifications
psychologist,
at all.
her job is to make you figure out or to figure out how to make you think you're actually eating non-vegan.
Yeah. This is the only one who has any type of degree, dietitian, nutritionalist. And
Okay.
it's from like the South Ecuadorian medical school.
And yet, in her list of things that she has listed
vegan mom,
beach bunny,
and foodie as the first two.
Yes.
Yeah, and beach bunny and one part stubborn. This is a problem. She is a her name is not Yvonne. Her name is Karen. All right? Her name is Karen, and she wants to see the manager. That's her name. All right?
But the thing is, I looked at those three pictures. I'm like, the first picture, okay, that looks like a nice professional picture. Second one, okay, that's...
He's going for the fun IT guy.
He's still, professional picture. And then you have bad selfie.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got the girl you've got girl who's still going to frat parties is what you have.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Karen and her friends can keep her bean eggs. I'm going to keep my good old chicken eggs.
Yep. Listen, just do me a favor, all right? Make sure that this stuff is not on the shelf next to, egg beaters or something. Because I don't want to be grabbing this stuff by mistake. Make sure the vegan... I want the same way that they started putting calorie information as part of the packaging on this stuff, and number of servings, making it very clear, like on the can of soda here. You got 0, right? What I want a big green something label, almost like what they put on cigarettes. I want a label that tells me that that's vegan, because I don't want to grab a vegan something by mistake.
Yeah, it needs to say bean crap. That's what it needs to say. Now, hold on. I want to get you another story off of their site. First vegan fried chicken store. Well, that can't happen. It is literally impossible. There is no such thing as a vegan chicken.
No, there absolutely is not.
All right.
That is vegan fried soy protein.
Yeah.
That is not... You are absolutely correct.
And let me tell you this. Beans don't have fingers. So I can't dip my bean fingers because they don't exist.
Okay, so last week I had Art Smith, the guy who made food for Oprah.
Uh-huh.
I had Art Smith's fried chicken at his restaurant in Orlando.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, it wasn't vegan.
No.
And it could never, ever be vegan.
No. Because he cooks for Fat Oprah.
Yes, he cooked for Fat Oprah.
There is absolutely none. What's next? A vegan steak?
Oh, somebody talked about a vegan steak the other day. I was in a restaurant and somebody said, "Oh, this isn't as good as my vegan steak. They make it out of cauliflower." I'm like, then it's not a steak.
Although those are really
not a steak.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
like it's a cauliflower press. It's a cauliflower patty. That's all it is.
You cut a big piece of cauliflower, and you cook it on a grill.
You soak it in soy sauce.
That's grilled cauliflower.
Yes, it's not a steak. Calling it a steak is stupid. But it actually is good.
Absolutely is. Steak implies meat. I don't even like when they say swordfish steaks or tuna steaks. Or ham steaks. I don't even like when they use that. But at least it's meat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, culinarily, those are actual steaks. Because that is the type of cut. Okay, let's go to something, before we get to our movie reviews, something happy.
All right.
One of the best comics of all time has returned to the internet.
The internet.
Goldthwait?
No, The Far Side.
The Far Side.
The Far Side returned to the internet yesterday. You can now go. You can now go to thefarside.com, and every day there'll be.
How are they going to make money?
Well, so what they're doing is, at the moment, every day they put up. There's some ads on the page too, but there are old comics. They're being posted up, a selection of them every day, and you can go back to the previous days to see what there was. But he also has posted up sketchbooks, so you can see scanned copies of his original sketchbooks. And then apparently, as time goes by, there will actually be some brand new comics put up on the page. There is an actual brand new comic. It's a self-portrait of Gary Larson that accompanies the letter from Gary Larson saying why he did this. But before this, there was no real official way to see old Far Side cartoons on the internet. So now you can see every day. You can see old Far Sides.
So somebody got a hold of all the Far Side a Day calendars and scanned them in, is what you're saying. Because that's the only way I can think of that this would actually happen.
Well, this is Gary Larson himself did this.
I know. I'm just saying.
And that's a
I
very
imagine
good thing.
somebody at a copy machine just rip.
Now, see, when you said comic, I thought you were talking about a person.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I did too. I thought, Triumph the Insult Dog, Unknown Comic.
I thought he was going to touch on this show that Hugh Laurie is coming back.
That looks good too.
In
Let's
January.
go ahead and go to that.
So, HBO has a sci-fi comedy series coming out called Avenue 5.
Yes.
Which, I saw Hugh Laurie, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then I saw Josh Gad, and I'm like, this is going to suck. Hate that guy.
Should we bother?
The trailer
playing the
does
trailer?
actually. Do you think we're going to get dinged?
We're on.
Well,
Facebook,
I guess not.
We're on Twitch, so
No, I guess.
let's talk about it.
No, because we're discussing it, so I guess it falls under fair use, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's give it a whirl. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? We get another ding and then we give them some money?
Okay, boys and girls. Let's keep our eyes on the prize. Fly safe, fly true. Set your phasers to fun.
Hey, Captain.
They are so great.
No, they're really not.
Bang, bang, shoot 'em up, destiny.
That coming through loud enough, Mike?
Mr. Judd, you're here.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, good.
I like to see folk take pride in their work, even if some might call that work menial. Not me, though.
We consider passengers as equals.
Aye.
Is that Jack Black?
No, that's Josh Gad.
Oh, okay.
Let's all take a second here. They'll figure this out.
Who's the engineer here?
Who's the genius?
Who's the captain?
Who fucked up?
I want to be a spaceman. That's what
What the hell's going on?
Should we be scared?
This is a safe space. Emotionally, physically, we're obviously in terrible danger.
Everybody, stay calm.
Hey, you're not getting into some escape pod, are you?
Ma'am, if I had an escape pod, I would put you in it. Set the fucking thing on fire.
That doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
I'm happy I have HBO at the moment. So,
yeah.
I got I did switch to a different cell plan.
Okay.
So I now have the cell plan that comes with HBO.
I mean, it looks interesting. I don't know. Is the premise that they're lost in space type thing? I don't know what I'd have to watch the pilot to see if I'm going to watch it anymore.
So about the only thing that I can clarify is Josh Gad's character, the guy with the blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's Mr. Judd. You saw Judd on the walls. He is the owner of the company that built that ship.
Okay.
And he is on the maiden cruise and basically is taking no responsibility for anything, even though he owns everything.
Okay.
But basically everything is his fault.
Oh. All
That's kind of the general premise of what I think it is. But I'm just excited Hugh Laurie is back on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I haven't seen Josh Gad. I haven't seen much of Josh Gad. I mean, most I know about him is that he plays a snowman. So I don't have that much.
All the thing says is that when its 8-week journey around Saturn is underway and its systems are optimal, the ship suddenly encounters technical difficulties, and it's up to Ryan and his crew to calm the disgruntled passengers and find a way to deal with unexpected events on board, though they might or might not be equipped for the task. That's all it says, so we won't know until it actually kicks off.
I did notice I probably recognized a whole bunch more of the other actors than you would, because they're almost all British comedians.
Yeah,
why you got to ruin it for me?
Is the one guy there? What? I don't know who that guy is. But...
He's a British comedian, but on many shows.
Okay, so it's not the guy who played Zane Donovan in whatever, the sci-fi show. Eureka.
Now,
but it's not.
Oh.
Now I'm going to have to get a shirt 0% British.
Well, you better take a DNA test first.
I think that's
might be surprised.
I think you need that shirt to about 9 more minutes.
So, all right. So before we get into our movie reviews, which we will do the movie reviews in the last half hour of the show, I think it's important that we talk about we talked about same-sex marriages earlier, but there's a scandal going on with the Hallmark Channel, which is in full swing right now. I don't know if you know this, but this is the 10-year anniversary of Hallmark Channel Christmas movies. So
I did not know.
So they have been. I see it every 15 minutes because the damn commercial comes on. Because we're either watching Matlock or we're watching Hallmark. That's the way that this family rolls. So, yes, 10 years of Hallmark movies. You take it on average, 30 movies a season. So now they could officially start up a Hallmark Christmas movie channel and, play a different movie all day long, every day, each day for a year straight and be fine. Which I'm surprised they haven't yet. But, yeah, so we're in heavy-duty Hallmark Christmas season, and evidently there was a protest, Mike, absolute outrage that Hallmark would have a same-sex couple kissing on a commercial, something that they got paid for on their channel. God forbid, this wholesome entertainment must be stopped. We can't continue to fund Hallmark through these homosexual ways. And this was in the New York Times that you brought to our attention. So, Hallmark has now, as an update, apologized for bending to the whim of the public. Because originally, here was the timeline. Commercial on the air. People pissed. Commercial off the air. Now, people pissed. Commercial back on the air.
Okay, well, the first people pissed was little.
Are you saying they were midget people?
No, it was that one group of mothers against things. So
it was 1 million moms.
Yeah,
was the name of the Twitter account.
Yeah,
that ironically had less than 4,000 followers.
1 million moms against scissoring is what they were called. I think that's their.
However,
Facebook
they
group.
protest, and just statistically speaking, There are probably some midgets in there for your edification.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Statistically speaking.
Okay.
Can I add 0% midget to my shirt?
Yeah.
Might as well, because
Okay.
that would just offend. That's not offensive at all.
You can put 0% little person. Oh, that'd be okay.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised that Hallmark Channel caved, because people called them out for caving to such a small, non-influential organization anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The Hallmark Channel already or Hallmark stores already have same-sex couple-themed
cards
and merchandise, so what the problem is?
Yeah. Now, what they don't have,
People.
because I did ask my wife this, I'm like, what I haven't seen yet is a same-sex couple Christmas movie. Now, this year they did start getting into interracial couples in a couple of their shows. Now, if you want to see a lot of interracial couples, you go to ABC Family for your Christmas shows, and they are like every other one. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. All right, I'm just saying if you want more diversity, you go to ABC Family. All right, they got your diversity in your shows. All right. Hallmark started all of a sudden. I think this year is the absolute first year I have seen, opposite colored, leading stars. And I'm not counting like Prince of Mongovia, versus American Woman, because that's every show. All right. I'm talking about like, this is different. But I have not seen a same-sex wedding movie yet. And I wonder if next year, when we get to the 11th year of Hallmark movies, if we're actually going to see a same-sex couple movie from Hallmark Studios, considering that now they're pumping them out at like 45 movies a year.
Well, wait a second.
I didn't see our generator, our Hallmark movie generator didn't account for same-sex couples as I drool on myself. All right.
He's so excited, Mike.
Yes, it's the idea of, lipstick lesbians on Hallmark Channel is so exciting. No. So that's the thought is, all right, are we going to have it next year? Not that I care, right? It doesn't bother me at all. Or if we have two dudes, doesn't matter. With 3 dudes, 4 dudes, I don't care. Get some Mormons out there. It doesn't matter. Just make a very Hallmark family Christmas. I don't care. But
so I did have to go look, because I was curious if Hallmark was owned by the same company that owned Logo, and they are not. And that would have been my reasoning as to why Hallmark wouldn't have one. If they did, it would air on a sister channel that caters to the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not, so I guess I would agree with you. I think by next year you're going to see one. It's just a question of how embedded do they want to get.
I guess Late Night with Seth Meyers had some fun with it. They said next year on Hallmark Channel, the first Noel. Sarah has dated 3 women named Noel, but sparks fly when she goes to a friend's Christmas party and runs into the first one. Or The Nightmare Before Christmas, 2 lesbians are making Christmas dinner when they realize they're out of quinoa.
No.
All I want for Christmas
stop.
Is Sue.
What are you doing?
These are names they came up with. Deck the Halls. 2 female carpenters get hired to build a deck the week before Christmas. But instead of a deck, they end up building a bridge to each other. This is better than the generator could have made. Late night TV shows. You have good writers. So,
yeah. Actually, we actually do have a Hallmark Christmas movie lined up for next episode. So
yeah. So
that'd be a first.
Before we get into the movies, let's give a little bit of history on that, because I said this was a great tie-in. So we had decided last show that we would do My Brother the Time Traveler, or whatever in the heck that name was.
It has many names.
All right. And then Colin got stuck traveling home and said, hey, guys, can we delay the show? And I said, sure, I'm just now watching the second movie, and said what it was, and you went, oh, I guess I watched the wrong set of movies. By the way, you may want to change the first one because it's horrible.
It was less horrible as in there wasn't anything to talk about.
Yeah, so Mike and I agreed, because we obviously hadn't watched movies we weren't supposed to watch for this week, and or for the next show. So we got lucky, and we said, okay, Colin, well, since you endured, then it's you pick the movies. And Colin said, well, how about this? What do we think about a Hallmark movie? And I said, my wife will love that if I tell her, hey, for the radio show, I have to watch a Hallmark movie. And it's one she hasn't seen, because I brought it up to her.
Good.
And she's like, I haven't seen this movie before. And it just so happens that the movie has Shelley Long in it. And Shelley Long is in a movie that we're doing this week. So if we can just find a George Wendt movie for the show after the next show, then we'll continue on the Cheers bandwagon. Maybe something with George Wendt and Woody Harrelson. Or,
yeah.
And then we can do George Harrelson, and we'll just do this, 7 layers to Kevin Bacon, and we'll just work our way through. Can you go from George Wendt to Kevin Bacon? I'm sure you probably can.
Oh, yeah, you can.
But anyway, so that was that was how we got to this, and that was I was amazed that my wife. I came up with, you said, a Hallmark movie that my wife hasn't seen, because those typically don't exist. Now she probably has seen this, but doesn't remember it at all. So
probably saw it under the original title.
Could be, but for this week, the dog's upset all of a sudden for some reason, and we have 2 movies. We have Anna and the Apocalypse, which is our Christmas-themed movie. And we have, what was the other one? The other one was it Return to Paradise Cove? Or
Welcome
something?
to Paradise.
Welcome to Paradise. All right, so which one do we want to do first?
Welcome to Paradise.
Okay, Welcome to Paradise is what we'll do first. So, I did not have a chance to write my review, but I did watch both movies. I will say Welcome to Paradise did take me 2 sittings to watch it all, because it is a bit slow. All right, at the beginning. But Welcome to Paradise is a typical 80s-ish movie about a wife who's had enough, and so, along with her 2 friends, decides to go on vacation and relive their youth. The 2 friends, one's going through a divorce, and the other one is, actually this is a 95 movie, not an 80s movie, but it feels like an 80s movie, okay? And the other one is just all wrapped up in her job. And so, I mean, it was interesting for me because it had Ian Ziering in it and Shelley Long. So, at least 2 actors that I know of. I will say this, that very predictable movie, slow moving at some points, but overall enjoyable. I mean, it is a cheesy-ish, midlife crisis movie. I will also add that in several parts of the movie, it's probably not appropriate from today, because I do think if Ian Ziering had tried to kiss Shelley Long today, that not only would he have been slapped or maced, but he probably would have been, finished in that town and ran out of the town and had to have changed his name legally. But, overall, in general, I think it was a pretty good movie. So, it is what it is. It was decent. I will have to give this one a meh on my side. So, all right, Colin, your side.
So, it was interesting. The relationships, two of the relationships worked. The Shelley Long was not very good in this movie, and the Shelley Long and Ian Ziering thing they're trying to put out in this movie that she was engaging with him and kind of strung him along a little bit, but they forgot to actually show any of that in the movie. It just was 40-something-year-old housewife being latched on by a 20-year-old. I don't know exactly how old Ian was in this movie, but that's what it was like. And I was just like, no. That whole thing, that was a bit skeevy to me. I didn't like that part. I think they did a terrible job of that. But a lot of the other two plot lines, I thought they were done pretty good. There definitely was plenty to see in this movie. That they did a good job with the eye candy. That was nice, without being too bad about it. This definitely was not a Skinamax movie. I have no idea what TV channel this was originally on, but I give it slightly better than the Meh, but I'm not sure. Is that Chuckle? It's not quite Smile, but in between.
Yeah,
whatever that
probably
is. Slightly above Meh.
Okay, sorry, I'm having trouble. Mike dropped off on us, so I'm working on getting him back. Let me do this real quick. I am going to, so he needs to come in on 10. So I'm going to try and bring him back here shortly. And copy link, and okie dokie, let's bring you back on 10.
Do. Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah, so sorry. It's just difficult for me to make some changes while he's still trying to come in. I wonder if the provider that gives us their interconnect between him and us has flipped out for some reason. But regardless, let's see here. So we had a great connection with him and everything. There we go. Hey, Mike. Okay, hold on one second. And there you go. There's your voice again. Now we should be able to hear you. All right.
What the hell happened?
Say something.
Can you hear me now?
All right. Hold on. There we go. Okay, now say something.
Something.
All right, now we hear you. There you go.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, but I'm working on getting you back into the mix here.
So Mike, yeah, I gave it slightly above Meh, whatever that is.
I think Smirk.
Yeah. So there we go.
Sounds good.
Now we're all back. Life is good again. Go figure.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So, welcome to paradise.
Yes.
What new 4-3 pillar box hell is this shit? And here's the best commentary I can give on the age of this movie. There's a giant Miller High Life inflatable bottle in the background during the opening montage. Just the fact that it had an opening montage is a commentary on this movie, on the age of this movie. And if it was newer, it'd be a giant inflatable White Claw. Pause the movie. Booked in the hotel they stayed in 20 years ago. I bet it's worse than the Hotel Coral Essex. Unpaused? Yep. Side note, I remember once being at Disney during a cheerleading competition. Thousands of high school cheerleaders running around. That's about as close as I can get to relating to an experience of being somewhere on spring break. And there he is. Ian looks like he's right out of high school. Frisbee dude. Do you remember when Frisbee tricks were like a thing? Lifeguard guy is pretty damn good if he remembers that she was wearing that dress. And this is the kind of movie scene that gets us guys in trouble. Ladies, listen to me. Guys like this lifeguard do not exist. We don't remember what you were wearing 20 years ago. And if we do, it's because we wrote it down somewhere. The bar scene. That's my kind of scene. See, when we go to a NASCAR race, we don't go to chain restaurants. We ask the locals, where do you go to hang out? And that's exactly what you need to do. Exception to that rule is going to a Hooters. 35 minutes in, and I realize we violated a rule with this movie. There is absolutely no trivia on IMDb about this movie. None. Not a single trivia. What does that tell you? Who the hell goes, who in the actual hell goes jogging on vacation? Oh, of course, horny chick. She's looking for a lifeguard. And now Shelley Long is hanging out with Ian. Wait a minute. Shelley Long is married. You hooker. The good old days when bands played at school dances and not a DJ. Again, only in the 80s. All right, Shelley Long's not a hooker. I take that back. Paused. I hope that this lady beats the ever-loving shit out of this guy that tried to screw her over at the company. Unpaused. Yeah, this is even better than her beating the shit out of him. And ain't that sweet that the hubby came to make nice with the wife and make her feel loved again. Puke to Schnikes, this gets a totally tubular meh from me.
Yep.
Wearing a hyper-color shirt while we're at it. 'Cause unless you're feeling nostalgic and or love one of the actresses in this movie, don't even. Don't.
Yeah.
And
all right.
The other reason I take back Shelley Long not being a hooker, the other two ladies stripped down to their bra and panties to belly flop at the end. Shelley Long did not.
No.
Yeah. Kind of like the scene in Old School where Andy Dick is teaching all the wives how to perform blowjob on various fruits, and Leah Remini is the only wife that is not in that scene.
Yeah. So now our next one.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I want to say there was a scene right after that with the other woman going back with the lifeguard, and I'm like, man, couldn't you two have followed Shelley Long's example and kept your clothes on? That was what I was thinking there at the last scene there with the lifeguard. I was like, no.
So
the 80s, you had to do something.
Yeah,
it was 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an 80s movie made in 95. That's what it was.
It was an 80s movie made in 95.
We had several of those.
Yeah.
All right.
It could have been shot on the same set as Revenge of the Nerds 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Hotel Coral Essex.
Yep. Next movie up, which I actually watched first. All right. I had so much fun. So much fun describing what I was watching to people. All right. Sorry, I'm going to take the cough drop out of my mouth for a second before I go and spit all over my keyboard again. So everybody asked me what I was watching. I'm like, I'm watching a Christmas movie. And they said, oh, you are? I said, yes. It's a British teen Christmas zombie apocalypse musical. And they said, I'm sorry, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm watching. It's called Anna and the Apocalypse. And they said, oh. And then when I got that, they go, well, how was it? And I said, you know what? In the genre of British teen Christmas zombie apocalypse musicals, I'd have to say it's one of the best. So, I know I'm pigeonholing this movie, but honestly, I'm not usually one for musicals. All right, unless it's Annie, the original, the one with Carol Burnett in it, or South Pacific, or The King and I, or maybe The Producers. All right, those are about the only musicals I like. All right, and then it's got to be specific versions of those. All right, so I'm not a musical person. But this one, I actually really liked, especially the tune when It's a Brand New Day, and all hell's breaking loose behind them, but yet they got the earbuds in, so they're totally oblivious to everything, which I see all the time. So it was totally believable that actually would happen. This is actually a very, I thought, good zombie movie, from the fact of just total disregard for what was going on around you. And, I thought that it had some good plot points and everything all the way up until about the last 15 minutes of the show. I thought that the last 15, maybe 20 minutes of the movie, they really just kind of gave up and they took like the easy way out. So from the point of, the headmaster getting frustrated with what the adults wanting to leave. All right. I can say that without giving too much about it away. It's at that point that I think they just ran out of steam for how to keep it interesting and moving. Because I think they could have had a lot more opportunities to play with it and explored it and had more fun with the cast and what was going on, but they just kind of took the easy way out. All right. The semi-predictable way out. And so that's where it really fell down, because I think that could have gone from like a smile. That took it really from a smile to a smirk for me. All right, so it's above meh, but it's not a smile or a laugh or a chuckle. It's just a smirk for me, because it was good. I have to admit, it was good for exactly what it was. And if you're ever in the movie for a British teen Christmas zombie apocalypse musical, then I highly recommend this one. And if Amazon doesn't add that particular subgenre to their search refiner, then they are missing out on about 5 people who will never find this movie, because they're looking for that particular subset genre. So that's my thought. Colin?
So I described this to somebody else as it's kind of like Pride and Prejudice and zombies, except that this one is High School Musical and zombies. It kind of acts in some ways as a parody of High School Musical and Grease, and zombie movies. And it's extremely British. The headmaster is the character who plays the guy who plays the headmaster. That's the second time he's been killed by a zombie. He was also killed by a zombie bear in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. So we're just looking through that. But, yeah. So in my personal definitions of how I score these movies, if a movie I've never heard of, and that when you look at it, sounds like something you don't want to watch, and then you watch it and you have a good time, and you feel like, oh, I need to show this to other people so they can get it as well. That to me is the definition of a movie that gets a shnikes. And that's what this gets from me.
Are we ready to move on to Mike?
Oh, yeah, let's go to Mike.
All right, Mike's up. Oh, I just love that camera switch and boom. Oh, you've never seen a more shocked face.
You gave this a shnikes.
Hey, you did.
You gave this a shnikes.
Yeah, I gave it a shnikes.
I'll mirror you. I have recommended this to a couple people after I watched it. I wouldn't have given it a shnikes, but I did recommend it to a few people. All right, Mike, your turn.
I'm gonna read the end and give you my rating before I go through the rest of this.
Okay.
I didn't give it a chunky puke. I did give it a puke. This is a stupid friggin' movie that should have never been made. And if any of you gave this higher than a choke or a cough, I swear to God, there's going to be hell to pay. And Colin goes and gives this a shnikes. I might as well just... I might as well just give up now because this is no. Look, first of all, I didn't realize that this was British. We all know my relationship, my history with British movies. Now, the fact right off the bat, I got a problem with dude stuck in friend zone because he's got the everlasting jelly donut. It's taking him 30 minutes to eat this jelly donut, and he keeps taking full-size bites out of this. Right off the bat, I have a problem with the continuity in this movie. If you're going to eat a donut, eat the goddamn donut. All right? I am ashamed to admit that I was a fan of the show Glee. But that's about as close as I get to liking musicals. In fact, I can't stand and have flat out refused to continue watching a TV show once they decided, we're going to do a musical episode this season. Cancel that show. I'm done with you if you do that. So now we get to the first musical number of this thing. I want to throat punch somebody. Second musical number, which there's no other point to make between these because they went from one right to another. Still want to throat punch someone. A bowling alley named Thunderball. Okay, finally something redeeming about this movie that I might enjoy. I actually smiled about. Fish in the Sea song. The two penguin fuckers singing this song. Okay. I need that as my ringtone. New best thing in this movie besides Thunderballs. But now I'm thinking about this. They're performing a musical in a musical. This is like some Inception level shit. What are the Santa stripper bastards doing here? Those kids are not in high school, and they all have straight teeth. They're not British, and they're not in high school. What are they doing here? Where the hell did he get a banana? And why is nobody wiping blood from their faces after Justin Bieber is a zombie? Best news I've heard so far. Why is there a ball pit in the bowling alley? Another song, a depressing one at that. If I didn't have a bruised rib, I'd probably be blowing chunks at my screen right now. I'm picking up a lot of auto-tune in some of these voices while they're singing, and that's a big no-no for a musical. The old lady zombie pissing on lesbian Macaulay Culkin's head may have perhaps saved this movie from getting a puke. Spoiler, it didn't. Someone clue me in. How you kill a zombie with 2 miniature watermelons? These guys are walking. One dude's got a baseball bat. One's got a crowbar. Dude, too many watermelons. What are you going to do, dude? What are you doing? Point deducted from old zombie peeing. Now we're back in puke territory because of watermelons. Good. Sappy friend zone zombie boyfriend got eaten. Go ahead. Sing me a sad song, Anna. Sing me a song about how love isn't fair and life isn't fair and how love was pulled out once you finally realized that it was all while braining all of these zombies with a candy cane, including Santa Zombie. You stab a zombie with a knife, you take the knife with you, lesbian Macaulay Culkin. There's my sad song. It's a song of Anna losing hope. And in comes lesbian Macaulay Culkin to save the day. New rule. New rule. If you guys try and pull a British movie over on me without telling me ahead of time that it's British, again, I get a free tap out.
I actually didn't.
And I get to bank a Rochambeau for when I come to visit you guys. Because I'm getting tired of all of these British movies. I'm serious. This is ridiculous now. This has been like 6 in this year. And I can't do it anymore.
I'll tell you what. I actually didn't know it was British until a few minutes in, and you see them in the car, and I thought, he's on the wrong side of the car.
They're on the wrong side of the car.
Mike is going to hate this. I think I said it out loud. I'm like, oh, this isn't going well for Mike.
I can't believe I have to freaking type this word shnikes on stupid shnikes. Not even freaking.
Oh, and that's how it goes, folks. That's just how sometimes it works this way. I mean, it wasn't completely a landslide. Like I said, I'm not like Colin. I didn't love it, but
So now that I'm back up here, okay. So actually, no. So we had some comments come in from Mama Blair. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, in the 70s, yeah, because DJ with 8 tracks.
Yeah.
Apparently, everybody knew this. Everybody knew. Let me put that back up there. Everybody knew this. When y'all start watching this. See, this is bullshit. Y'all just know. Oh, British. Okay. No wonder why no comments come in. Everybody's just sitting back. Ha, 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 ha. All funny on Mike's reaction. Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Bloody wankers.
All right, now, for next week, we have Merry In-Laws, which, like we said, that's going to be our Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, it's not British.
No, it's not British.
It's definitely not British.
Not British. And then... and then... Now, and then...
So help me God, if we two... Somebody better watch this now and find out if any of these characters have a British accent, because I swear to God, this movie looks bad enough that if there is a British accent in there, you know what? Why not? Leah, let's just close out the year on that. Why not? Why not? That'd be the perfect thing. If the Velocipaster wound up being a Brit, that'd be perfect for me.
Yeah, sure.
Be absolutely perfect to end the year on. Ha ha! Very funny.
Yeah, our second movie is Velocipaster.
Just been infamous this year.
Yeah. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by his new power, a prostitute convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. Because crime wasn't enough. We had to throw ninjas in there. Well, the good news is Gregory James Cohen seems like a good old American name. So I think you're good there. So yeah. He was in Logan Lucky, he was in Walking Dead, he was in, some other stuff. Girls Next Door. How the hell was he? Okay, anyway. So those are the two for next week. Now next show. Next show actually is also our New Year's Eve countdown show.
Yes.
So you will be able to. So here's for those of you that aren't familiar with it. Here's what happens. So we count down to the new year, so that you can download the episode, and we will tell you a time marker of when you need to start your clock, and we will count down to midnight with you, as long as you start playing our episode at the time that we tell you to. Also, I want to make everyone aware that the Celebrity Death Pool is available for entry. If you go to ptrradio.com, it's one of the menu items up in our top menu. We have had quite a few people enter already. We made it even easier this year. We got rid of the referral system. You don't have to have a referral. You don't, we don't do any referral points or anything like that this year. Made life easier on ourselves. We've had quite a few entries, but we're still not even halfway to where we were last year. So please tell your friends, tell your enemies, just ptrradio.com. click on the death pool entry, the 2020 death pool entry, and get your entries in. All it takes is 5 people who you think are gonna croak in 2020, and then just a little bit of information so that we can reach out to you and contact you and make sure that you're real. And, then also we got a couple of stupid questions you don't have to answer or not. But we have been getting some good answers to what's your spirit animal and who is the sexiest host on the show.
No, we haven't.
What do you mean we haven't? We gotten some good answers.
Yeah, okay. Listen. So we have 15 people that have entered so far.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a right back flip it at you, Shaggy. Ha ha, karma. Mr. Pick a British Movie. We've already got 31 new unique picks that were never picked before.
Nice.
That's good. Got people thinking outside the box.
31. That's 31 pictures you're going to have to find.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Ah!
So I did get a text from McKenna. I asked her if she watched any of the Singing Zombie movie. She said she only watched the beginning. She couldn't get past how terrible the first song was. So there you go, Mike. You agreed with McKenna.
Yeah. So
thank you.
So, but please do check out PTRradio.com. Get yourself registered, and then do tell your friends about it. So, but we are going to be back. Right now, we will be back on the 30th. So the 30th is when we'll be recording our New Year's Eve special. It'll be a standard 2-hour show for us because it's just our regular night. And then we'll be back on the 13th. Now, we're not going to close entries for the Celebrity Death Pool until the night of the 13th. All right?
Correct.
Because we always close it on the night that we're open.
And as we have done in the past, starting January 1st, if you enter, your picks count.
Mm-hmm.
If someone passes before you enter, and that window between the 1st and the 13th.
Yeah.
If you enter on the 2nd and one of your picks died on the 1st, you are not getting a repick.
No.
You're trying to game the system. If you enter on the 2nd and somebody dies on the 3rd, you're golden.
Yeah, congratulations.
If you have already entered,
then
and somebody dies before the 1st, you will get to repick.
Yes. So that's the way that it works, and we'll be keeping our eyes out at the morgues to see any of the buzzer beaters, through the 31st, so that we can get everything in play, and then we'll be able to award our last box of randomness in 2019. Remember, 2020 we are doing a brand new prize. 2020 will be an Amazon gift card of undetermined cost. So we will base that. We'll have an internal decision here based upon how many valid entries we think we have, and we will go from there. And then so when we close registration and we do the show, we will have that number in our heads, and we will tell you what is up for grabs, so that you will know as soon as we close entry how much you think, how much you can know you might be eligible for to win.
And we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that on our next show.
Yep.
So with that said, we want to make sure that everybody has a safe and happy holiday. With Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, everything around the corner. Make sure that you are safe out there on the roads. We know travel is perilous for some folks, and winter storms are coming. Also, please be responsible when you do a little bit of drinking to get through the family times. But in all, we want to wish everybody a very happy holidays. And we want to say that we appreciate every single one of you tuning into the show, whether it's live or on the podcast. Don't forget to go to PTRradio.com. It gives you all the information that you need to subscribe to the podcast so that you'll never miss an episode. As well as you can check us out at PTR Radio on almost all the social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so that you can keep up with the show. So with that said, I don't have anything going on until February, which I'll talk about once we get into January and I get all the details, but that will be my engagement at the local convention center here. for our big trivia night. Mike, anything going on with you?
I got nothing going on.
Nothing. You're railing about the British, right? That's just typical. Find you in a park on a soapbox, right?
Brexit, you.
Damn you, Boris Johnson. Colin, any place anybody can see you anytime soon? All right, no. All right, folks. With that said, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the Ape Man.
Let's take a fork in this, folks. We are done later.